What is going on, herd? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in to another video. Today we continue our Does It Drift video series, where we purchase vehicles in-game, build them up to drift spec, and then test the cars rigorously to see if they have the ability to be drift cars. Today is one of them super spendy, super luxurious, super old school cars. This is one that has been suggested for quite some time for me to get done. And now is the time that we are going to do it. So let's get this thing immediately stanced up, see if it does stance up, and see what we're dealing with here, guys. So first off, this car cost $1 million. And this is the Z-Type, obviously modeled after one of the old original Bugattis, if I believe I'm correct there. Alright, that's not so good, though. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, we finally got our stance up. I did them all with the heavy sniper, and now we are going to be seeing what we got. So it did stance up normally with that heavy sniper, but we did mess it up a few times prior to that. Oh, and she's definitely going to drift too. She is definitely going to drift. So let's see what we got here. Something tells me that this one's going to be kind of tough to... So it's a pretty short speed boost engagement on this beast. It definitely is there, but it's kind of slow. Now, I will make the disclaimer here, guys, that I did not put any money into this. I don't own this car. I have been trying these really expensive vehicles out just in the stock form. Now, I can, after a lot of time put into this game, I can tell generally what it's going to be like with the turbo and with the, the actual engine and transmission upgrades on it. I can tell that just based off of the stock vehicle. And that's really what I'm trying to make a point as here, is to try to get a good feeling for this bad boy. Some good donuts. So I will say right off the bat as well, I definitely would suggest putting all of the upgrades in this thing. I know that the clutch kick would be a lot more engaging. I can already tell that that would be the case here. Obviously, the speed boost will be a lot more engaging as well. This car will drift, but its acceleration is so slow in the stock form that it's tough to get up to that speed where it's going to speed boost on you. You know, and one thing I'm not actually able to know is it going to still be a very short speed boost like it is? It's very, very short. It's not nearly as prolonged as some of the other vehicles are. So yeah, after getting to drive this thing around for about 10 laps here, this car is definitely a drift-worthy car. However, definitely are going to want to put those upgrades on it. Now, I have upgraded one of these a long time ago. Oh yeah, I was right. It is that Bugatti. This was far before I ever drifted when I actually upgraded this car. And it was on one of my other accounts. Otherwise, technically, I think it would still be around in races. I've noticed here recently that a lot of my old Does It Drift vehicles from this account are still available when I go into races. Of course, they're not available in free mode, but because I've upgraded the car, the custom car is still able to be utilized, which is pretty cool. We grade these things on 3 different aspects. First one is the cost. Next one is the driftability of the car. And then the efficiency of the car as a drift car. So obviously the car has to drift first off to start getting a grade. This car does definitely drift. It would drift better, like I said, with the upgrades, specifically those performance upgrades. Probably some suspension upgrades too, although I don't know if that really matters or not at this point in time. It's hard to say when the coding of the game is all the same. So cost is the big one here, guys, and you're looking at $1 million just for the base model car, and then you're going to be looking at about $60,000 for the turbo, probably looking in the $35,000 to $40,000 range for the engine, and about $30,000 to $35,000 for the transmission. Following that, you will put in a more affordable suspension system and some affordable wheels on there, and you're going to probably be up right around that $1.3 to $1.5 million range. I don't believe there's a lot you can do to this car for actual cosmetic upgrades. I think you can maybe put a wheel on the back, like a wire wheel, and I don't even know if you can change the hood on this thing. There's not a lot that can be done on this. I do remember that. But it still does have a couple little things. So cost, keeping in mind that we're keeping this not as cost as a car in general, but as a cost for a drift car in the game, I have to give it a pretty low score. Now, the reason is because you can get some really great drift cars in this game for the $100,000 range. And that's really what we're trying to chase in the drift community. Especially in the beginning, getting people, you know, involved with how to drift and getting them to where it's not going to break the bank. This car, on that same sense, is not necessarily a car that you're going to want to go add to your drift collection right in the beginning, and that's why I'm going to have to give it a lower score. Now, when I say lower score, that's 1 out of 10 points, since there's 3 different aspects. Each aspect has up to 10 points to get available, and on the cost here, I'm going to give this thing a 4. It could be better, it could be worse. It's definitely a drift-worthy car, but is it worthy of your drift collection? That's for debate. So with cost being a 4, we're going to move into driftability. Now, driftability here, stock, your acceleration is just too slow to really get up into that range to clutch kick it, so you kind of have to skip a couple corners here and there and just whip them around the other corners and keep that body momentum. You keep that body momentum just like the old dodgy bond, you'll be able to keep those drifts rocking and rolling. Clutch kick itself is very short on it, which kind of hurts the driftability. I'm pretty sure that stays the same no matter if you upgrade it or not. It doesn't actually make the clutch kick longer if you upgrade it performance-wise. It's kind of in the coding of the car how long that little boost is going to last. And with that boost being something that is so crucial to getting everything rocking and rolling with this car, it's kind of tough. So pretty much you're going to need to put the upgrades on there to get an efficient drift car. So of course we're going to keep that in mind as if this is upgraded, and we will give it a score according to that. I say we're looking at a 5 for driftability, maybe even a 6. That's once you upgrade it. It is a little touchy and it has a short clutch kick, so we'll give it a 6, which means out of 20 available points now we have hit 10. 4 and a 6, and in the end that brings us efficiency. Now the big thing I keep in the efficiency category is how well did it stance up. It stanced up okay. We had to use the heavy sniper. If you use the heavy sniper, it stanced up just fine, but we did run into a couple issues, so I'm going to dock at 1 point on that, on the efficiency. Now also the crashing, how does it wobble once you crash it? Now I've crashed it once or twice, just a couple little fender benders, so let's kind of throw this thing into the wall a couple times here, intentionally bash this thing up. Now what you're going to be looking at here is the bouncing of the rear, just the bouncing of the car in general. Although I did notice a little bit, it's very minimal in this car. There is a little bouncing there, so I think this is actually going to get a pretty high score for efficiency. We'll give it an 8 out of 10. We'll hit it a little bit for the damage and a little bit for the stance ability. So all in all, it's an 18 out of 30, which is a pretty low score for the drift category here, but in the same sense it's still scoring in the middle of the points and could still be something fun that you could bring out and drift around with your friends, and something that they probably aren't going to have themselves. Now some people do have this. I've seen it in a few people's garages. I've heard a few people talking about it, that they drift this thing around. But there are just so many better cars out there to drift, guys. So 18 out of 30, that is going to do it for the Type Z here in Does It Drift. We finally get it out and knocked out, and I'm sure some of you guys will appreciate it. I'm sure I didn't make everybody happy because I didn't go spend $1.5 million of my own money on the car. But, long story short, we got you guys the information that you are looking to get. With that said, if you have not went and checked out my Black Sheep Lifestyle channel, my Real World channel, that is the new channel out. I have just broke 900 subscribers, and we are just a measly 100 subscribers away from 1,000 now. So if you want to be one of the OBs, the original Black Sheep over there on that channel, the 1,000, the first 1,000 subscribers, definitely go subscribe to that channel and turn on the notifications so you know when I post, guys. With that said, everybody that does go over there, I greatly appreciate you. Everybody that has also been supporting Black Sheep TV, I greatly appreciate you as well. As always, guys, I hope you all stay happy out there. Please stay positive, and we will definitely speak to you guys next time.